Welcome back to another, oops. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is May 20th, 2022, and my name is Bruce. And yes, I'm changing the name of these videos. It's time to move past the Bali COVID-19 update. That was 2 years, and is COVID-19 gone? No, it's definitely not gone. It's still here. With the announcement the other day from the president that we are now in a no mask phase and moving towards endemic status, and there's going to be several segments on that. I just decided it's time to give these things a new name. Back in the old days when I first started this, if you were around then, you remember there were segments on vaccines, vaccinations, hospital situation, the number of deaths. Everything was related to COVID-19 back in those days, and these days less so. It's still, of course, important, and it's the framework that we're going to be working in for at least the foreseeable future. But the end of the mask-wearing period, for me, is a symbolic turn around the corner where we're going. And so I just felt it's time to, give this a different name. The latest news from Bali in Indonesia, I don't know if that's going to stick. I'm just trying some stuff out. Will things be different? No, basically they're going to be the same. I'm going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and a food video on Sundays. And if something big comes up, I'll do a special video on that, like if the changes in visas are announced, which, well, hopefully will happen someday in the near future. But just living without having to wear a mask for me is, it's a symbolic and a physical change. And so I wanted to do something with the channel to signify that. And so for those of you that have been following this for 2 years or a year or even yesterday, thanks. I appreciate the support and the thumbs up and the subscribers and the comments. And things aren't really going to be any different. I'm going to continue on pretty much the way they are. I'm going to stick to the 20 minutes and under 3 times a week, and the cooking videos, I try to keep our cooking videos around 20 minutes because, boy, they get long. I mean, some of them, when we made rendang, it was hours. I edited it down to, I think, about 17 minutes. Okay, so with that being said, how's the weather today? Well, it's kind of overcast. Looking up towards the mountains there. There's some clouds and, well, there's sunlight here, but it's kind of the hazy sunlight. The wind speed is a very mild 2 kilometers per hour. The temperature is a hot 32.3 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is 62%. Let's keep hoping that the rain goes away soon. Let's start off with the numbers, and the numbers are continuing to look good. National new cases, 318. National recoveries, 384. National deaths, 12. Bali new cases, 20. Bali recoveries, 11. And Bali deaths, 0. So the numbers continue to look good, and that is one of the reasons why all these changes have occurred over the past week. And let's get on to the main stories. Koster proposes endemic status for Bali. Here are a series of reasons. So Bali's governor has submitted a request for the determination of endemic status for Bali to the Indonesian Minister of Health. And what does endemic status mean? Endemic status means a disease outbreak whose spread is not as fast and as wide as when it was a pandemic, even though the COVID-19 disease could still be a threat to health. And we know that's true. The governor gave a number of reasons why he was asking for Bali to be specially designated as a pandemic area. And these include data from COVID-19 cases in Bali that are steadily going down. Not only that, many traditional activities, including the Ogo-Ogo parade involving thousands of people, have been successfully held in Bali and conditions remain stable. The governor of Bali also wrote a letter to the head of National Disaster Management Agency as the chair of the COVID-19 Handling Task Force regarding the abolition of the PCR policy for PPLN foreign travelers to Bali. And so this story came out the day that the change was announced. That situation has already been taken care of. So what are the governor's reasons? First, the number of cases is stable at 10 to 20 people per day, and the positive rate is below or less than 2%. In addition, the cumulative cure rate is 97% and the death rate is close to 0. Second, the stable conditions maintained even though the no quarantine and visa on arrival policies have been implemented for 60 countries for foreign visitors starting on March 7th. There have been many international meetings involving many participants, including the World Parliament meeting and the Minamata Convention meeting in February. There are many traditional activities in the form of the Ogo Ogo parades, with thousands of people participating throughout traditional villages in Bali in the context of Nyepi for 2022. And there's been a religious ceremony at Besaki Temple involving tens of thousands of people for 3 weeks from March 17th until April 7th. Third, the level of attainment of vaccinations in the province of Bali, especially the third vaccination booster, is approaching 70%, and the immunity of Balinese people has reached 98%. The booster numbers seem high to me, but that's often the case when numbers are reported. Fourth, the development of COVID-19 shows that Bali is very comfortable, safe, and conducive for domestic and foreign tourists to visit. And finally, fifth, in connection with this, the governor of Bali requested the head of the BNPB as head of the COVID-19 handling task force to apply a new policy that is special for PPLN Bali, namely not requiring the PCR test in the context of accelerating the recovery of the economy of Bali. And so we'll see how that goes. We're going to have another segment on endemic status coming up soon. Let's see what's happening with the situation after mask. Residents of Denpasar, after inspection of mask, inspection of vaccine. So no need to inspect for mask anymore because you don't have to wear them. You can if you want to, and some people, from what I see on the street, some people are still wearing them, but lots of people are not, including me. So since the relaxation of the policy on mask wearing, there is now discourse about the implementation of vaccine inspections. The government says in Denpasar that they are going to start checking people. The head of public order and community peace of Denpasar City, Satpol PP, Nyoman Sudarsana, said that his party would intensify the implementation of vaccine inspections. He said they'll be checking in crowded places such as supermarkets and other areas where people gather and don't wear masks to make sure that they're vaccinated. People are required, according to this, to scan the Peduli Lindungi barcode. And you know what I think about this. Where? I've been scanned one time since it started. Sometimes the stuff comes up and the government says we're doing this, but they're not doing it. Okay. So anyway, according to this, they're going to be implementing the Peduli Lindungi app again. If you've been asked to show your PL app on your smartphone, leave a comment and let me know, because I've done it once. According to Pak Sudarsana, if you haven't received a full vaccination or up to a booster, we will recommend and educate you to immediately complete the vaccination. If there's no sanction, it is different from the inspection of masks, which has been regulated by the governor's regulation. Vaccine inspections start on Monday, this coming Monday, the 23rd. So if you haven't been vaxxed, they may catch you. And Pak Sudarsana appealed to the public to continue to implement health protocols even though there is now a policy of easing masks. He said those who are used to wearing masks, whether in public facilities or anywhere else, please continue, because this is also part of being a healthy person. And, well, we're going to talk about that coming up soon, about what's happening in Jakarta with that. And so what is happening in Jakarta with masks? Jakartans divided as face mask mandate gets relaxed. So the face mask mandate, according to this article, met with mixed response from residents of Jakarta. According to this article in Tempo and their observation, many people were still wearing masks. They may not have known that the mask restrictions were eased, or as several people quoted in this article said, they feel more comfortable because they know that COVID-19 is still here and they feel safer wearing a mask. And fair enough. If people want to wear a mask, sure, no problem. And some people said, well, I wear a mask. It doesn't feel like a hindrance to me. It doesn't feel like a burden because I've been wearing it for so long. And for some people, yeah, that's the way they feel about that. For me, it has been a hindrance and a burden from the get-go. And I've done it, well, because it was part of my responsibility for helping to keep control of COVID-19 in Bali, and it was following the rules and regulations, which I try to do all the time because I am a guest here, regardless of whether I'm a permanent resident or not. And some more on mask wearing, right? So this is life after mask. Well, maybe we could call it that. Life after mask. LAM, lamb. Government drops mask rule as experts urge proceeding with caution. And so this article starts out talking to a guy who says, wow, I'm really excited about this, but I'm going to continue to wear the mask in order to protect myself and those around me. And so if you're outside, you don't have to wear a mask. If you are inside or in public transportation, you do need to wear a mask. And well, the inside thing is already being violated. Take a look at any video of clubs in Bali now, and you will see people crowded in together, not wearing masks. And that was one of the reasons why I said the mask rule needed to go, because it was not being enforced. And it's not going to be enforced even with the requirement that you have to wear it inside only. According to the health minister, Pak Budi, we always do benchmarking with other countries, and we see that in almost all countries, the mask policy is specifically for indoors. Pak Budi was wearing a mask apparently throughout his virtual press event, but he added that people could take off their mask outdoors. And he said that high herd immunity against COVID-19 virus warranted the relaxation of the mask wearing policy. Minister Budi referenced a serology survey in March that involved 2,100 residents in Java and Bali, and the survey showed that 99% of the respondents had developed antibodies against the virus either through vaccination or infection or both. He added that research around the world has shown that the combination of vaccination plus infection forms what is called super immunity. However, he said caution is still necessary. And the epidemiologist, Pak Diki Budiman at Griffith University, wow. I want to keep hearing from him. I feel like I know him after 2 years of reading all of his press releases. He said Indonesia should not follow other countries in dropping the mask requirement just yet, given a sluggish booster dose rollout. Pak Diki has been very cautious throughout this thing. He's always been kind of the voice of caution and reason, and that's good because he's a scientist and he should do that. Take your time, go slowly, make sure that we've got data to back things up. He said, although the number of booster doses administered had spiked over the recent Eid al-Fitr holiday, Health Ministry data shows that only 43 million, or just 14.8% of the population, has been administered the booster shots. In comparison, he said that the numbers in the US and the UK are much higher for boosters. According to data from Our World in Data, 30 out of every 100 people in the US have had the booster, and in the UK, 57 out of every 100 have had the booster. Pak Diki added, that's why we need to be wise and not rush to ease the mask-wearing policy. He emphasized that the ease policy should have been trialed first instead of immediately implemented nationwide. And another health expert who I've talked about before, Yoga Aditama, said that the government's decision to drop the mask requirement should be accompanied by increased testing and tracing to detect new variants. He said we need to closely monitor this new regulation by having more tests, so if there's a spike in cases, we can reevaluate the mask policy. And let's hope we don't do a rollback on this. Boy, that would upset a lot of people. And what about endemic status? Expert predicts Indonesia's COVID endemic status. So back to Diki Budiman again. He said that Indonesia will realistically enter the COVID-19 endemic phase by the end of the year. This view, he said, is based on the development of the country's pandemic management. He said, my prediction is that the pandemic, the health crisis situation, could be lifted by the end of this year or early in 2023, assuming there is only a third of the world's countries that are classified to be under control or endemic. He explained that the requirement for a country to shift from pandemic to endemic includes a 70% global vaccination rate, whereas Indonesia, he said, has reached 79.88% vaccination with an additional 20% third dose inoculation. Okay, and so you see here, he's got 20, and there was 14 in the previous article. And so, yeah, these numbers, these are not concrete numbers, right? They vary depending on what article you read and who you talk to. And he added, the last requirement is that there must be no new lethal COVID-19 subvariants that would worsen or reduce the effectiveness of the vaccines. Pakdiki has suggested that instead of giving endemic status to the whole country, that only certain regions be picked out for endemic status. This goes along with the lead story about what the governor is requesting to have Bali be recognized as endemic status. Okay, so I dropped the Bali COVID-19 update title for these videos, and I've just been talking about the virus. And, well, that's the way it is right now. But it's all news, right? Unlicensed 24 buildings on Berawa beach demolished. And I alluded to this if I haven't talked about it before. The Badung Civil Service Police Unit Satpol PP demolished an unauthorized cafe, shops, and the like at Berawa Beach on Wednesday. The demolition was carried out because the owners did not heed the results of a mutual agreement with the village office some time ago that they would voluntarily tear down their unlicensed buildings. The head of Satpol PP Badung, I Gusti Agung Ketut Surya Negara, said that the demolition of the semi-permanent buildings was part of the arrangement that had already agreed on, and he said apart from avoiding slum views, the demolition of tens of these buildings has also been because it violated spatial planning and land use. Of the total, he said, 24 semi-permanent stalls were demolished. The remaining 6 stalls have mobile system, so it's been cleaned by the owner. And the arrangement of this coastal area will continue to other areas, and I've talked about that, Kuta Sanur Legian, Kuta Seminyak Legian, and of course Sanur is undergoing renovations as well. And so that is the future of Bali. It looks like the beaches, the old kind of funky nature of the beaches is gonna be gone in favor of places like these big beach clubs. And apparently at Berawa Beach, there's a new beach club being built by somebody, but this seems to be the way of the future. And let's conclude here with the first day of the Bali COVID-19 video segments. More on foreigners behaving badly. Viral insults police in Bali. Estonian Caucasian deletes video, apologizes. Apparently she is a public figure. Her name is Larusi, and she's Miss Global Estonia 2022. And in a video uploaded to her TikTok channel, she said that the police in Bali are corrupt. She said, if you want to visit Bali, be prepared because the police will stop you everywhere and ask you to show documents until you give all your money to these corrupt police. Wow, did she not think that was gonna get some negative feedback? Based on this video, Larusi was allegedly ticketed by the police for violating traffic regulations while driving in Bali. Where in Bali? Where else? Canggu. This uploaded video also sparked the anger of Lu Jalantic, who I've talked about a number of times before. She's a well-known local figure, and when we get foreigners here doing bad stuff, she is on it. And what did she say? She said, I'm here to let you know if you obey the rules, the authorities will not take action. So if you ride a motorcycle without a helmet, bring a complete letter, obey traffic signs, don't act like your ancestors' roads. Okay, I probably should have translated that myself. Anyway, the gist of this is follow the rules. Make sure you've got your documentation with you and you're wearing a helmet, because apparently this young lady was not wearing a helmet. After the viral insult to Bali's police force, she deleted the video and uploaded a new video in the form of an apology. She apologized to the community and said she really appreciated the support given to her. She said she loves Bali and respects the existing laws. Thank you, Balinese. I was informed that you have accepted my apologies, she said. I love Bali. I love the culture here. I respect the traditions here and the laws here. She said, I hope other people can forgive me too. We are all human. We all make mistakes. This will be a lesson for me and not to repeat it. Okay, when are people going to get that you don't want to put negative stuff about Indonesia online on social media? Not just negative stuff, but very controversial stuff, calling the police corrupt. That you're not going to get blowback from that, from Indonesians who are very sensitive about the way foreigners perceive their country. So come on, get with it. Okay, so this is a new era for me, and I have another walking segment that I just finished editing that I will put up maybe tomorrow, Saturday. And of course, Sue's video on, what is it on this week? It's on Abon, and that will be up on Sunday. And here is a link to her last video. If you found this video helpful, useful, informative, scintillating, non-irritating, humorous, I appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you on Sunday for sure with a cooking video.